NASA says there will be anxious moments as the Artemis II crew prepare to re-enter Earth's atmosphere at speeds of around 25,000 miles an hour. Let me show you the live feed that we're currently getting from NASA this morning. The view from the capsule on board cameras there on the left. There's a visualization of the capsule in space on the right. The officials say that they're expecting splashdown off the coast of California at around 8 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. Here's our science editor, Rebecca Morell, who is at Mission Control in Houston.
3, 2, 1.
It's been a remarkable voyage.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
From the blast-off at Cape Canaveral in Florida,
The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon.
to memorable views of our planet.
You can actually make out the coastline of the continent. You can make out rivers because of the sun glare. It's just phenomenal.
And a record-breaking close encounter with the moon, as well as a solar eclipse.
It's bright and it creates a halo almost around the entire moon. Wow, it's amazing.
But now it's time for the astronauts to come home, and it's the most dangerous part of this entire mission.
And one of the first press conferences we were asked, what are we looking forward to? And I said, splashdown. And I haven't even begun to process what we've been through. We've still got 2 more days. And riding a fireball through the atmosphere is profound as well. I'm going to be thinking about and talking about all of these things for the rest of my life, for sure.
This is a life-size replica of the Orion spacecraft. The astronauts trained in this, and inside it's configured to match the layout of the capsule while it's in space. So the seats are down, ready for re-entry. It's kept the crew safe for their entire journey, but now it has to bring them home. And this is the part that really has to do its job, the heat shield.
During re-entry, the heat shield is angled towards the Earth's atmosphere. As the capsule hurtles through, it will experience temperatures of 2,700 degrees Celsius. That's half as hot as the surface of the sun. But on the Artemis I mission, which had no crew on board, the heat shield was charred and damaged. NASA says they've fixed the problem by changing the angle of re-entry.
We spent, a good part of a year or so investigating, what we saw and actually able to replicate that on the ground. So being able to replicate that condition on the ground was a huge step forward, because then we could start looking at how can we fly the mission differently and preclude this from happening on Artemis II.
Another critical mechanism is a cover on top of the capsule. Its tests were filmed by a BBC Two documentary. It must eject on re-entry to allow a series of parachutes to deploy and slow the craft down. For this tight-knit crew, who've been through so much together, they say they're ready for this final challenge before their extraordinary journey comes to an end. Rebecca Morell, BBC News at Mission Control in Houston.
Well, let's talk about it some more with Dr. Maggie Liu. She's an astrophysicist at the University of Nottingham. Good to see you, Doctor. Let's talk about the final descent and that moment when they jettison the European space module. What is that, and why will that be significant?
So the European Space Module carries all the electronics, the plumbing, the main engine to do a lot of the thrusting and correction burns and stuff like that. It contains all the solar panels that have been providing them power so far. It's a lot of weight, so you don't want to kind of carry it through the atmosphere with you. So that will be ejecting before the main crew capsule will re-enter through the atmosphere.
The re-entry itself will take around 16 minutes. Rebecca set out for us some of the technology behind it. But what is it about that re-entry process that is the most dangerous part of the mission?
Well, these astronauts are traveling incredibly fast. In fact, when they hit the atmosphere, they'll be traveling at Mach 32, which is 32 times the speed of sound. And then they have to slow down all the way to 19 miles per hour at splashdown. But there's a huge amount of friction there. So like we heard in that previous segment, they are getting heated up to thousands of degrees Celsius. And this kind of re-entry hasn't been done the way it's been set out to do before. With Artemis 1 previously, 3 years ago, that mission flew with no astronauts on board, tested the re-entry, and they found these problems with the heat shield. With that re-entry, actually, the Artemis 1 mission actually kind of skimmed the Earth's atmosphere to kind of dissipate some of the energy so that they could get a more precise landing. This time, they're going at a kind of more inclined angle so that they can pass through the atmosphere more quickly so that the heat shields don't kind of get subjected to as long a duration through that heat.